It's podcast time on a dark and stormy night. Just wrap up May because it's been dark and stormy all May, so we might as well just finish May's episode tapings with more dark and stormy. So almost agreement at gmail.com, by Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com, check out what's going on there. Go to your favorite podcast provider, like, friend, share, follow, text your friends, do what you do to support the show. I don't know, I've just lost my train of thought because Sam's over here trying to knock my expensive plants over in my classy studio. We got some government bodies backing off of decisions. Some bodies doubling down on decisions. We've got George Orwell. We're going to do a whole episode on George Orwell, everybody. So we're going to get going, and we'll talk to you guys all right now. Hi, buddy.
Hey.
What's new? What's happening? What's exciting? What's
much.
fun? So I don't know that any Knox County school students who wanted to borrow roots from the library missed the opportunity to do so because it's back. Yep. Took them off the shelves, put them back on the shelves.
Was school still even in when they
I'm not exactly sure when they pulled it because it was a couple weeks ago, and school was in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it's the last week of school. They barely are.
I'm assuming there was probably like a grace period of like you've got 1 week or whatever to pull. Well, maybe. I guess it wouldn't be that hard.
You got 1 week to get the one that's out in that's out of circulation and in somebody's possession back. But then it's also the end of the school year. You got 1 week to get it back anyway.
That's true.
So I don't think any kids who wanted to read Roots. I guess maybe there's a couple of families who are paying attention to the news and saw it and were like, go to the library and get Roots. If they're going to take it off the shelves and we have it loaned out already, do we get to keep it? I did. That's a smart move. I should have done that.
Well, I didn't think you guys wanted it back. You couldn't have
it
anyway.
You guys said you were pulling it off out of circulation, so
you were going to take it somewhere and burn it, right?
Yeah, you're going to throw it away. So, yeah. Anyway, so Roots is back. I don't know. And basically, Riso kind of did this unilaterally, and so there's some weirdness about it. Interestingly, the one and only mayoral candidate Betsy Henderson came out on her social media saying that her as a school board member would like to get Roots back in the library. She thinks this was a miscarriage of the intent of the law.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I didn't take that as it's more interesting to me that she bothered saying anything because it was kind of resolving itself and she didn't have to have an opinion.
Right.
And I would think that if there is a portion of people in Knox County who were okay with Roots being pulled out of the library, they probably are leaning towards Betsy to vote or voting for Betsy in the first place.
She's trying to pick up some moderates.
And so she didn't need to potentially alienate those voters with this public statement. She could have just kept her mouth shut. Yeah. So I thought it's more interesting that she said anything than specifically what she said to me. Because there wasn't a need for it. But apparently she came out and said that she was working on drafting some sort of something to take the school board to figure out how to get Roots back on shelves. So.
Who was it that made the initial decision to take it off? Was it not?
No, it's not a school board thing. There is a body. There's a review board separate from the school board. There may be
at the state level or county level.
County level.
Okay.
Right, because remember the important thing to remember here in the 90-something school districts, public school districts in the state of Tennessee, Knox County was the only one who'd pulled it. In the United States of America, in all 1,000 whatever counties and school districts that we have, Knox County was only the second to have it pulled. After some random county in Iowa. Now, the local thing, which I don't know, I find that kind of be a worthless little chunk. It's an interesting subplot to the conversation that Alex Haley has ties to Knoxville in East Tennessee. He had a farm out in Roane County, I think, later in life. And apparently he came into Knoxville not irregularly to speak at the UT or to speak at South College when South College was still active and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so he was a known human being in the greater Knoxville area. There is a statue of him in Haley Park over off of Magnolia.
Yeah. I went to the place once. It's out in Roane County. It's like the Children's Defense Fund or something like that.
Right. Some of his, right.
So anyway, going up to it, it was like a gated fence, like electronic with big sign that said no knives and all this other stuff to come in.
So I think it's an interesting little subplot to the story, but whether that affects the should or shouldn't the book be in the shelves thing kind of doesn't. I don't think that's relevant to it.
Right.
It's Cormac McCarthy's from around here, and there's a lot of shit Cormac McCarthy wrote that probably shouldn't be in school libraries, at least elementary school libraries. Like The Road's dark. Have you read The Road?
No,
it's dark.
But he's from around here.
Yeah,
or Tennessee.
Yeah. Like his
could have fooled me.
It's like him and James Agee. That's what we got.
Right.
In the writer world, we got him and James Agee, and we have a loose connection to Alex Haley who wrote The Roots.
There was another woman that did a poem. I can't think of her name that I remember learning about.
Yeah.
I don't think it's from this area.
But as far as big names, anyway. And so I don't know. Like I said, I feel like that's an irrelevant piece. It's an interesting part of the story, but it's irrelevant to the actual argument that he's from around here.
Right.
If I'm trying to think of a random reference. Of somebody that's like if Harvey Weinstein was from around here, we wouldn't be like, oh well, it was okay. I'm grasping at straws for an example, but you get what I'm saying,
right?
Doesn't make them having.
But there is a little
thing.
That additive local kind of pride in it.
Sure, I mean, which makes it more interesting that we banned it in the first place. It could have been you would have figured there might have been a little bit more hullabaloo on the prep for the process than it would have been for the shit. Now everybody's mad that we already did it. But that being said,
maybe it's a 3-person board,
and the way the board is designed by state law, and not Knox County Schools didn't make it this way. The state of Tennessee did. Is this board has to? I mean, essentially, it's whomever files the complaint, however they file the complaint, and cites what they're complaining about, and for all intents and purposes, that sentence or paragraph or page is pulled out of the book and presented to the board.
Right.
So they don't know what book it's from. I mean, they may know because they know, but they're theoretically the way
they do it semi-blindly.
It's supposed to be. I mean, the law reads as it's it doesn't matter what the context, what it is in context to the book. It doesn't matter none of it's the way it reads is that it should be theoretically blind. Do they do it that way? I don't know.
Yeah.
But the way the law reads is they're supposed to treat it as such. They may be handed the book and say page 187, paragraph 3. That's the segment in question, but they're handling the book so they know what it is. But the way the law reads is that they should treat it as if they just got a cut-out piece of the book of that one paragraph that person is complaining about.
Yeah.
And that's how they're supposed to review it. Because that being said, apparently this was the second time it got put on the board. And the first time it got dismissed because it didn't hit the standard for the specific complaint that person had brought for that specific one in the first place.
Yeah. I thought Ryswick's defense was basically it's an overall great book or whatever. It's obviously Pulitzer.
Well, I mean, on it, it's legally speaking, what's confusing about it because legally speaking, the other 95 counties in the state of Tennessee, why haven't they all banned it as well? Because I think it clearly hits the standard of the law.
Yeah.
And I think the Knox County School book, whatever board that has been created, was just trying to stay within the law as written in the procedure that Knox County Schools handed them. But it's still the fact that it was banned here and it's not banned in Nashville and Memphis and every other one says to me that nobody else is following the law in the state. Why are we in Knox County? Because I mean, again, the Dems and whatever in the Nashville and the Memphis area, they're not going to treat it the same, and the state will shit on them, and it doesn't quite feel the same. But it's how is Cock County up here, just up the street here? How is they still have it in the library? They may just not have ever had it in the library. I don't know. Yeah. They might not have libraries up there. I've only been up there a few hundred times because I have family that's lived there for years. But you know what I'm saying? It's weird to me. It's just weird. And so again, there's questions about is Ryswick breaking the law in reinstating the book? There's no language in the law about a process or anything, or there's no law that says they can't bring a book back even if it's been removed. It doesn't say anything in the law about once it's removed, it's gone forever.
Right.
But it also doesn't have any notes about how or what reason there could be to bring a book back from the ban list. So I'm a little confused on and so I don't know. Ryswick is not a political animal by definition per se. He is hired by the school board, and so he does have to deal with in the realm of politics as part of his career. But it seems like a little bit of a step out, or maybe it seems like a move that the school board was like, "Hey, man, you do this, and we'll protect you, and then none of us have to pay any political price for it." Maybe, but I don't know. Marcia hears about it and comes down with a hammer and says, Marsha Blackburn says, Knox County Schools, your loony leftist school board director needs to go now. How does the school board react to that? Because I could imagine that it's on Marsha's radar. Is it something she wants to? I'm sure she's heard about it. Like, if Knox County is in national news, is it ever good?
No.
Well, at least from your and my perspective, it's never good. This made national news.
Did it? Okay.
This was this got into the, and like then, as the AP and their fun puns that they put on everything kind of put in there. It's like the home of Alex Haley takes his books out of the library or something like that. They made the reference. They made that part of the story, and which again, it's not part of the story. It's irrelevant to the story. It is just a neat little, it's an interesting subtext to the story, but it's not really the point. But yeah, it made national news, and there's no way, like I said, there's no way it didn't come across Marsha's desk. Now, so far, at least, she's kept her mouth shut. But Ryswick just reinstated it yesterday, Thursday, the 28th.
But she has no control over state.
Sure, but she didn't have control over the state redistricting Memphis into 3 Republican districts.
No, but
she was the first person to open her fucking mouth to say that we should do it.
Right.
So
she pushed for the governor to call a special session.
So how is it any different for her to push for the governor or Glenn Jacobs, her buddy, to lean on the school board or whatever it is that whatever the apparatus for her leanings are? Anything that's under the Republican banner in the state of Tennessee, she has the complete authority to lean on. Because at this point, Bill Lee's on his way out. He's not, as of right now, he's made no ovations of any further political career. Like, as far as the Republican standard bearer in the state of Tennessee, that is Marsha Blackburn, unless, this Rose character or somebody else upsets her in this primary, which we don't, come on. That ain't happening. So, the same way the federal House and Senate Republicans, they may not like Trump, they may not really be on board with all the Trump stuff, but for the system and the game that they have to play, they have to support the Trump initiatives. Same way for all the Republicans in Tennessee to whomever the governor is. At some level. There's some minor pushback here and there. Like we did have the pushback a couple of years ago with the Don't Let Gloria Run for 2 seats law. Because there were some Republicans that held 2 seats that wanted to keep doing that. And there was some BS argument about how, where's these smaller counties don't have a lot of people, and even less people that want to run for these offices. So I've got to hold both these offices, or we wouldn't have a state senator. It's like, okay, then you don't have a state senator because your people didn't bother running for it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how that would work. I'm sure there's some process for an interim one, and I'm sure as soon as an interim one shows up and some level of media says, hey, the reason we got this guy appointed for us is because nobody ran. Anybody want to run for this at all? You might be running by yourself. You might just get a job. You might get a per diem and a free place to stay in Nashville a couple days a week. Might be fun to do. Be better than sitting on your couch all day. Anybody? I don't know. I'd do it if I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Or independently wealthy. But anyway, so I don't know. I'm curious to see if there's any backlash. Maybe not from Marsha, maybe coming from Governor Lee or coming from some of the lawmakers in the state who made this law last year and pushed it through. If you wrote the law, if you were part of the team that wrote and passed the law, might be a little ticked off that people are kind of thwarting it publicly.
Yeah.
Might be worth you making a ruckus. And, everything's going to move back and forth through the party apparatus and stuff inside, too. So we may not hear about it. It may just happen. So, but yeah. Good news, everybody. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're done with the Root Saga. Maybe we're not. We'll see.
Yeah, I'd say we're done with it.
I hope we're done with it. So I heard on the Breaking Points today was talking about it. Apparently, the Madison Square Garden tickets for the Knicks and whomever they're going to play in the finals. We don't know yet. It's San Antonio and Oklahoma City. Forced to Game 7. That's tomorrow night, I think. And then Tuesday is Game 1 of the finals, whoever wins. Mm-hmm. The Knicks are going to be the home team no matter what because of the way the system works. And so Game 1 tickets on a Tuesday night in Madison Square Garden, front row, like courtside seats, 6 figures. And this is why Luigi Mangione exists. Like, it really is.
This is why Spike Lee buys season tickets. Well, I guess that doesn't apply to playoffs.
Right. But it really is. But, I mean, they're not $100,000 tickets from the Knicks. It's not the Knicks and the Madison Square Garden selling tickets for $100,000. It's secondary market stuff. But, it's one of those, like, again, I'm not saying it's an excuse or it's appropriate or whatever, but this is why events like the Mangione killing that guy happen. Like, you've got a guy whose mom died from some whatever and has been having problems with all this and whatever, and he's struggling to get through day-to-day life, and then he sees on TV that hundreds of people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for tickets to go see a basketball game on a Tuesday night, nonetheless. People have a hard time just like there's a little bit of like, oh wow, neat, cool, whatever, but then there's a whole lot of rage.
It's not quite so much of a concerted effort. That's just everyone buying tickets.
No, I agree. It's just, but it's like,
or with enough computing power, using multiple computers to quickly buy up tickets to then resell.
Right, and again, it's not to say that people want to necessarily go to the games either, but it's like I'm sitting here fighting tooth and nail to get a little bit further behind each month than I was the month before, and I keep slipping, and I'm doing everything I can, and I'm working my ass off and all this kind of stuff. And you're telling me there's people out there dropping $100,000 on a basketball game? That's what upsets people. And it's getting worse for me, but not for them. That's what upsets people. That's what people get mad about. And somewhat rightfully so. I don't say rightfully so. That's not fair because, I'm not saying that Mangione made the right choice in life. But you can kind of start to get a little bit of a feel for, like, I understand why some people are pretty upset. Like, it's not, like, completely irrational to be very angry about the world as it is and where you sit in it.
Be careful, you get put on that new FBI list.
Whatever. Since they're listening to me, I'm probably already on some list anyway. I politely refuse to comment during the Compass show today about KPD is announced that their real-time crime center is up and running, at least partially to plan. They have one sergeant who is a bonded police officer and 2 civilian employees that sit in there. And this is paraphrasing, but from the statement from KPD, and watch the screens.
Right. And they're looking to hire 2 more, I guess.
Right, and they're looking to hire 2 more.
I don't know if that was what they considered full, but they were going to hire at least 2 more at some point in the near future.
I'm just saying, like, am I crazy? Do I remember them telling us that, no, we're not just going to sit there and watch the screens all day. It's more for, like, when something happens, we can watch it. And so you're telling me you got 2 people that are, I mean, I don't know what they pay a civilian employee at the KPD, but I'm going to guess it's in the $20, $25 an hour range. You're paying $50 an hour for 2 people to sit there and do nothing until a phone call comes in from an officer or from the 911 operator says, like, because I mean, it's pretty smart, to be fair. Like, it is a smart system. 911 gets a call, and the 911 operator is asking the questions and getting the information and, like, the location of the phone that comes in, because that's standard in our wireless carrier systems. It's going to ping your phone and give the 911 operator your exact location. Since the 911 operator has it, that then automatically goes to the real-time crime center, and they will be looking at cameras around the location of that ping phone call, as well as, I just ran out of this place over there because this guy pulled out a gun and was robbing the place. And then the real-time crime, or the 911 operator is putting that into the system to get it to dispatch to get somebody out there. But that information that goes to dispatch also goes to the crime center. So the, theoretical example, the old, Moody and Chapman Highway, the Walgreens there on the corner, or Weigel's. Both of those are on that corner. Somebody robs that Weigel's, right? And you're in there when it happens, and you see the guy come in and pull the gun out, and you book your ass outside and run away, and you call 911 as you're running away. the 911 operator and the real-time crime center have your location, and then you say, yeah, there's some dude in there robbing the Waggles right now, and they know where the Waggles is that you're talking about.
I don't think we use the cell phone. With a landline, they can get a direct location. With a cell phone, it doesn't automatically pull up.
I'm pretty sure that is mandatory in systems, because even cell phones that don't have SIM cards have 911 capabilities.
I mean, to my knowledge, the best they can figure out is the closest cell tower.
Okay, whatever. They're irrelevant. That's not the part I'm trying to complain about right now. Doesn't really matter.
Right.
Anyway, any information that the 911 operator has automatically goes to the real-time crime center.
Right.
And so there is a camera at the intersection of Moody and Chapman Highway, or a couple. There's a cluster of cameras up there.
They can go back 15 minutes or whatever.
They don't even have to go back 15 minutes. They go right now and see what's there now, and then they can work through it.
In the instance that the perpetrators have already left.
Right.
They can go back and be like, okay, that was the car, that's the license plate.
Right. And then they're working through the different cameras that are available, trying to see where they went and where they are. And up to the point, theoretically, of them parking in a parking lot somewhere trying to hide that there is a camera inside the system, that they're watching them live as officers arrive.
Potentially, yeah.
Not to mention the 7 or 8 new drones they got last year with their, what do they call it? Do you remember that story?
But I'm assuming they're in like a police cruiser's trunk or whatever, to where they can remotely, because they can only fly for like 20, 30 minutes depending on battery.
But it's one of those, okay, so the real-time crime center tracks the robber to a parking lot. Maybe can't physically see him in the parking lot, but last seen, the vehicle entered this parking lot, we lost visual on him. The drones are going up in the area, and they're flying at least 1 or 2 of these drones over near that parking lot. Those are linked into the system as well. And, now we've got location on these guys, and then it's like, okay, well, here's what we see, here's what we got. There's 2 individuals, we got no hostages or anything like that. These are the safe ways to proceed for you guys to go and whatever these guys.
I think the article mentioned it was modeled after Chattanooga. It sounds like Chattanooga had this like a couple of years ago or something like that.
Congratulations, Chattanooga. And so I don't know. Like, again, like even in my example, there's nothing bad about what they're doing in the example I have. I have no issues with any of the thing in the example I have necessarily, per se. I don't trust the totality of the thing. I don't, I won't say I don't trust Chief. I don't know Chief Noel well enough to say that I trust him on whether or not he would or could abuse a system like this, or any of his 400 and whatever officers. Not that they all have immediate access or anything, but it's a large organization with a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, we just had how many? 10 current or former sheriff's officers, indicted for fraud.
Right.
We had our juvenile court being douche canoe try to fire some people who told the truth about what was going on in the facility. I don't know. I wouldn't see it as a complete stretch of logic for the sheriffs. I mean, the sheriffs don't have this system, for example, for a situation similar to the sheriff's one, trying to chase down whoever's ratting on them and using the systems they have to find them. It's not a crazy leap of logic for something like that to happen. Now, does that affect me or you? Not necessarily, but it's still. There's
been stories of officers that have used, I guess, like the police database to kind of do a little bit of cyber stalking.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. In all sorts of different directions of it. There's been plenty of stories about dudes' wives leave them because they can't stand the life of being a cop's wife and just get out of it. And then stalk their ex-wife and stalk their ex-wife's new boyfriends and shit like that.
Right.
Because they're pissed off at it. And it's like, dude, that sucks. I hate it for you, but not okay. This is part of what she signed up for. And sadly, she didn't commit to it. And I'm sorry. That sucks. You made the decision for the job over the woman. That's the consequence of the decision. Sorry, man.
Take care of your lady.
Don't know what to tell you. Figure it out. Yeah, there's all sorts of different stuff that cause strife between couples and work and all the different stuff.
Tell her she's pretty.
Work it out. Arrest her or arrest her dad because her dad was an asshole. I don't know. Figure out what makes her happy. But my point being is that's my problem with this thing is it opens up too many potentials for bad action, and just because we can make the argument of how it can be good doesn't negate the possibilities of the bad actions. So we're live now, but I feel like I remember, and I might be making it up, but I really feel like I remember them telling us they weren't going to be watching them live, that they were only using them in some short history, but in a historical context. But no, they're watching them live as it occurs. They're not necessarily watching anything. The way I understand it from the description is the two employees in there are just sitting there in front of a bank of screens that are all hooked up to all the cameras they have,
right?
Just kind of looking at stuff, and then
like most what you would see is stereotypical, like security room or whatever. You've got multiple things, and it's each screen is just kind of going to different cameras,
as a camera
cycling through different cameras.
Right, and as a call comes into 911 and information comes in, then they'll open the screens that give them a visual near or around whatever the incident in play is.
Which maybe there's a 5-second delay, and that was their kind of wiggle room of like, well, they're not watching it live. There's a 5-second delay.
But I mean, still, it's like I'd be curious to know what the frequency of calls to 911 that would trigger them going over to the real-time crime center to look at stuff. What are they what measures are in place during there's no call or nothing to really officially look at right now, but I'm just sitting here. I know what I mean. I wouldn't put it past myself to be bored and just following some random hot girl around town. Just watching some hot girl walk around Market Square. Okay. What else am I doing right now? It's not illegal. She has no expectation of privacy. She wore that out in public. Still kind of gross, right? Again.
Yes, it's gross, yeah.
I'm just saying, but what else do you do when you're bored? Like, if you're bored sitting there, what owuld you be doing?
They've got 100 different cameras to flip through. I'm sure they could find something.
Yeah, a hot chick in a nice outfit.
Okay, Mr. Negative Nancy.
I would rather that. I mean, if you want to get down to the grand scheme of things,
you're just looking at the worst case scenario.
Yes, I am.
You don't like it when I do it in other subjects. You're just focusing on the negative.
I am focusing on the negatives on this one. Yes, I am.
Yes.
Because it's a significant power given, and this is how big negatives come to fruition on us, the public.
I mean, there's many of aspects that have a potential for abuse. You can look at any part of the judicial system. There's a chance that there's a crooked person in some position.
Yes,
that can just screw you over.
Which goes back to last week when I discussed bringing back the guillotine.
Yeah,
these are the people the guillotine is designed for. But anyway, it's up and running. But apparently everybody loves KPD anyway, so there's no harm, no foul.
Well,
I don't know. Apparently
they
did a professionalism assessment, which kind of an interesting take on it. You get the public's input where the public says cops are dickheads and I don't want to deal with them kind of stuff. And you have official reports of misconduct from the public about officers and stuff like that. And that gets compiled and they do reports on that and kind of stuff. But apparently what they did, I'm not exactly sure. It's not super clear from from Compass's reporting that I've read so far on it, on how exactly they did it. But some 7,000 hours of body cam footage was combed through by a third party. And they used that footage to kind of make a determination about this interaction.
Yeah, I saw a headline about some kind of third party that had to do with KPDs. I think it just said communication, but I didn't click on it to see what the rest of the headline was.
So maybe the same article, maybe not, but yeah. But essentially, yeah. So a third party came in, or they gave all these body cam stuff to third parties, which included like traffic stop interactions as well as just walking around Market Square, walking around whatever, citation events. I don't know what you want to call it. Just
general public interaction.
Right, just hanging out with public, just direct public interaction and stuff like that. And of the 7,000 hours, only 490 were perceived as negative interaction of negative interaction time. Meaning that, however many interactions 490 hours is.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good. I guess. I don't know. Because, I know, my interactions with cops, because usually it's, my most common one would be, the employees or the KPD officers that I am obliged by the city to hire for my events. At some level, they're my employees for the day. So there is a different power dynamic per se. I can't really fire them, I guess. But there is a little bit of a, hey, I'm only getting this extra money because I'm paying them. This is off-duty hours for them. I'm only getting this extra money because you put this thing together. So right. There is a little bit of like, again, not the boss per se, but I am paying them, and they know that, and it's fine. I'm not complaining about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining about it, but it's always a fun interaction, and they're mostly cool. They're during the day. It's certainly a cool event. Not to brag on my event or whatever, but it's a cool situation. I think for them to be in.
Yeah, sure. They could be.
It's hanging out with the public, and people are doing. People are there to have a good time, and most of the people are having a good time, and they're all the guests are smiley and happy, and so the guests being smiley and happy, and they're like, "Hey, officer," and they're like, "Hey, guys, and blah, 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 have a good time, be safe," and everybody's kind of that way, which I'm sure is some of the footage they saw. Maybe not my event specifically, but I'm curious how many hours of the horse cops. Like, did the horses have body cams, or is it just the cops on the horses?
Just the cops.
I mean, the cars have cameras. Why wouldn't the horses?
Really? Are you honestly asking that?
I mean, I don't really care.
That's a genuine question.
I just think it's funny. I thought it was hilarious.
So I think they've gotten to the point now where every officer is issued one.
Yeah, there was a big stink with SWAT in county not all having them.
Yeah.
Last year, but no, I believe all the KPD does, and there was something in the budget this year. They were talking about the budget this week. I think there was a little bit of an increase in KPD's budget for equipment, since they now are at full staff, and Kincannon wanted to add 5 more uniformed officers. And so the budget for 5 officers, the equipment they need, and some extra equipment to make sure that everybody that's currently working has the proper stuff. Yeah. Which
there's some body cameras that are worn on one on the left or right shoulder. I've seen some footage of it, and I'm like, that looks really weird. I'm like, oh, it's on their shoulder. I
mean, it makes more sense. It's more logical.
I see a lot of clips of them falling off a lot because they're pretty much just kind of clipped in.
Right, but it's just the chest body cams, although they seem to be more secure as far as stuck to the officer than these shoulder ones, and they point the right direction more often. It is kind of weird when you're kind of looking at people's belly buttons all the time.
Yeah, I think I've seen some where they're in the hat.
Yeah,
I like the rim of the hat.
I mean, get them all meta glasses.
No, I don't think they do that. I don't know how expensive they are, but
I would.
That's something that can more easily fall off.
I would go out on a limb, and I would bet you that meta glasses are cheaper than those Axon chest mount body cams that they all wear.
Yeah, but the battery life's probably not the same.
Yeah, I bet you. I'll bet there is a aftermarket or even meta brand
external battery pack,
external live run battery pack, and they could put, they all wear their TAC vests all the time anyway. You just put a little battery pack on the shoulder, in one of the little shoulder pockets of your TAC vest. Big 10,000.
So you're not happy with the city having data, but you'd be cool with a major social media network having access to that same footage.
Oh, in that case, no, I would hate that.
If it's meta glasses, they have access to it.
I hate that.
That's what's in that terms and conditions.
I don't like that either. Why would I'm not saying I'm okay with that. I'm just giving an alternate idea on that. It's the same. I mean, I'd be curious. I don't know if anybody's looked into Axon and what they do with all their data and whether they collect. I mean, they do. There's no way they don't. That's the thing to me. That just, it's the most obnoxiously.
I don't think they're all connected like that.
I think it's the most intentionally. Maybe not intentionally, but it's maybe the most naive thing that I hear out of people's mouth more often than not. If you're in the business of data collection, quote unquote, for others, you're collecting that data for yourself too. Full stop. I would be hard pressed to believe that any major company that deals in data processing doesn't have some level of copies or access to copies of everything that they're collecting.
I think Flock has gotten some guff for some of that.
Because
as far as I know of the regular body cams, that's something that you take back whenever you end your shift. You go back and you plug it in and it uploads your daily, Or I think you have the ability with your laptop. Because
Right.
I've seen some scenes where, there's been some kind of like argument between the officer and the suspect or whatever, to where a sergeant will come on scene and they can stop right then and there and kind of upload part of it to have the sergeant be like, okay, I'm going to review his body cam. If you're saying this, I'll look at it right here. Give me 10 minutes or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a procedure that says immediately after, like whatever the definition of an incident is, once we get the all clear, before you go back on duty, you upload to the.
I think they're required to do it whenever they end. Essentially,
I would say, like,
go back to base.
I would think it would be smart procedure to do it immediately, even if you're not done with your shift. Because so me and you have an incident, and it's early, and you're the cop, I'm the civilian, right?
What are you going to upload it to? I mean, you've got a laptop
in the cruiser,
right? Then you're going to email it to yourself or back to somewhere?
I'm going to bet that they have all their laptops have SIM chips in them. They're all wireless capable.
To just direct stream it to what kind of database?
To the Axon database, as that would be my assumption. And then the Axon has a whole database that is KPD's, and it's only accessible by KPD, would be my guess.
See, I don't think that. I think it saves it in whatever kind of file, JPEG, AV, whatever.
Right. And
I don't think you upload it into Axon's corporate database. You upload it to your Knoxville, however they want to store it for KPD,
which is managed by Axon.
I think the cameras are just bought. I don't think they manage the
interesting
video
question.
system.
I don't know. To be fair, I don't know, but I'm guessing. I'm sure KPD has a whole big server bank in the basement of that building somewhere, but I am guessing they are not trying to store hundreds of thousands or millions of hours of videos on site. I'm guessing that they're offloading that to
it's probably a cloud-based system, yeah.
Right. And it's not KPD doesn't own or operate the cloud-based system. Axon or whomever does. I'm just saying Axon is an example.
Why are they not? KPD has to store all sorts of other information. Why would they not store that video information with all the other police information?
KPD is a police department. They're not an IT service.
Where do you think the information is coming from when you get pulled over?
KPD is using...
And the officer goes back to their car, types up your information, they can pull up your full record, etc.
Right, that would be some of that would be state database stuff, but I wouldn't even. Right. I would imagine even state database stuff that's available on call like that is, again, it's probably not a server farm under the Capitol building in Nashville. It's a company like AWS or whatever Elon's tech services, Starlink stuff, where they're doing all that stuff, like all these giant data centers that everybody keeps talking about getting built everywhere. Yes, a lot of it is to process AI.
Cisco's a big
right, Cisco Systems with the C, not the S one.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and they build giant server farms where they have terabytes and terabytes.
Right, but that's not Axon.
I'm not sure that that's not. I don't know, but I'm not. I would, if I'm Axon, that would be the direction I would be going with my business. We've got the hardware and the software to manage this. Because look at it this way.
I don't think there's any kind of profitable information they can get from body cam footage.
Okay, well, all right. So first, let's settle part A of the argument before we move on to part B.
Okay.
Part A of the argument is if you're Axon Systems, you're selling a system. Hey, Chief, you've got all this information you've got to keep. You've got all this body cams, you have all this demand for body cam stuff. You have all this information you need to move back and forth between officers. You need a place to store all that information that's accessible to you and your DA's office and all these other parts and pieces. That's not something you in the office want to deal with, right? We will take care of that for you. There are a million companies out there that is their shtick. We are a full service whatever. We take care of the totality of all the things that are involved around this subset of something that you need to do for your business. For all intents and purposes, that is what an accountant is to a small business like me. We are a full service accounting firm. You have a small bar restaurant. Sign the contract here, and we will take care of all your accounting needs. We'll store the information. We'll upload it to the IRS. We'll do all the parts and pieces. We'll do all these things for you. So all that's there is what you need to be there when you need it to be there. You give us a call. You say, hey, I had a question about my W-2 from 2022. and we will call you, or we will send you a copy that we have on file, and we'll take care of all that stuff. That's what my accountant does for me. That's what I pay them for.
Right.
And the sales pitch is we're full service. Anything in this sub-vein, because my business is not accounting. My business is retail sales and bar and restaurant.
Right.
And so...
You said that's what you pay them for.
Right. I pay them to take care of this whole giant subset of things that are important for me to operate my business that I don't have an expertise in, nor the time or energy to deal with. And again, if I'm Axon or on any of these other companies that do these services that go to, military providers, police departments, stuff like that, that's my sales pitch. Hey, Chief Noel, here's the deal, buddy. You get your city to sign a contract with us, and we'll get all the cameras you need for your staff. We'll get we'll set up training systems where we can sit down with your officers and teach them how to work the systems correctly, so that the information gets first onto the cameras and then uploaded to the system correctly. We'll take care of all those parts and pieces for you. You're just going to have cameras on the board. Here's some policy that we've helped other police departments write that you can add to your policy handbook so your employees know how to handle things correctly.
Can I stop you? You're correct. I did a quick search.
Aha.
According to Axon, they have a cloud-based system called Axon Evidence.
I'm just doing a little...
I try to be positive.
You try to be positive about me being wrong? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
No, it just didn't seem like it would be worth it. Like I was going on to the second point, it didn't seem like there would be any kind of... I guess with this, if they have their own storage system, they can charge you monthly.
Right. It's a subscription.
Right.
We've got you a 1,000 gigs of storage. Well, if you want to keep that 1,000 gigs up and running, you got to pay us X a month, and then a month later, it's 1,000 more gigs or whatever it is. I'm sure it's the contract. I mean, the Axon contract is part of this city budget. We could find it,
right?
How much we pay for all those services. I'd be curious. I don't know if the contract is public, but the amount of the contract is public in the budget. But I'm sure it's significant. So again, and I wasn't even okay. So we checked that part of the rebel. Now, what Axon's doing with access to all that data, even though they swear up and down they don't have it, I don't know. Could be a lot of stuff. Some more nefarious than others. I mean, it could be I don't know. I don't know how these there's a channel or two. Like it's YouTube, and I think they've got one.
There's a bunch of channels,
but it's its own. It's like its own app. Scout watches the shit all the time. Like I'll walk into the shop and she's watching it's just dash cam video.
Yep.
Like some days it's dash cam video off of people's cars dash cams that get uploaded and people load it into this channel or whatever. But a lot of times it's cop dash cam.
Yep.
Just all day. I don't know how that...
It just takes a FOIA request.
And so, I don't know, maybe you just skip the FOIA request and go to Axon and just buy it direct. Be like, hey, give me...
I think you could do that.
I mean, I think I could do that. I could ask them. Now, can they sell it to me?
You can ask them and maybe bribe them and maybe get it, but I don't think they would risk... I don't think they would risk doing that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'd be curious what the... again, yes, there is some amount of it that is public record.
Property of the city / county / state.
Right. But I don't have a good
state property.
I don't have a real good example of what I think they would or could be doing, or what they would be doing with it. But they still got it.
Right.
And as much as part of their sales pitch is, we don't have access to it. We set this up so you're the only one that has access to it.
There's more sensitive data out there that I'm more worried about other people having.
I mean, I agree. But it's like, and I maybe it's hypocritical, maybe it's not. To me, there is a difference between the state doing it and private companies doing it. And if a private company is doing it on behalf of the state, I treat that private company as the state. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm the state of Tennessee and I hire you to do something, especially like the dirty shit that Kincannon did about hiring Chief Noel in the first place. So, do you remember that story?
Mm-hmm. No, not really.
So, open records and all that kind of stuff. When they're technically speaking, when they're doing a hiring process for somebody like the chief, their applications are public record. One of the concerns that some elected officials, Kincannon being one of them, has, it's like, well, I don't want to lose out on a good candidate because they're concerned about putting their application in that's public record that may get them in trouble with their current job. So Chief Noel was formerly with New Orleans Police Department.
Right.
He was pretty high ranking there. It might have had negative effects on him if they found out that he put that application in before he was given the job. So
I can kind of see
working backwards a little bit, you go, okay, well, maybe then we wouldn't have gotten Chief Noel to apply if he knew that his record was going to be public, because he didn't want to put himself in a bad position if he didn't end up getting the job.
Right.
Not a poor personal choice on Noel's part if he was going to do that. And so the Kincannon administration and city council hired a consulting firm to, I can't remember what the phrasing they used was to narrow the field of possible candidates. So the applications go into this third-party private consulting firm, to which they narrow it down to like a 3-candidate final, to which the mayor and the city council interviewed and stuff like that. And then it goes public.
Yeah.
And so basically open records wasn't really open records because they figured out a workaround because they gave it to a private company. And that's not an uncommon practice among many government entities and stuff like that. It's just the example du jour because it just went in line with what we were talking about.
Okay.
It's not, I mean, it's like, it's not a bad, like the reasoning for why Kincannon and the city went about it makes sense to me. I don't disagree with the logic of what they said.
I mean, if they've continued to withhold it after the fact.
Well, News Sentinel had to sue him for him to release it. Like, it was a big, you don't remember, there's a big story.
No.
Like, News Sentinel was suing them.
After they'd already.
Yeah, well, because News Sentinel had done a FOIA request during, like, News Sentinel was basically sued the city arguing that they are going around FOIA and freedom of information and the open records rules by bringing this third party in to do it. News Sentinel's argument was like, we're trying to cover, we are the paper of record in Knox County in the city of Knoxville. We are trying to cover the hiring process for new police chief, and you are intentionally hiding that from us by bringing this third party in. And so it's like, and their argument's the same as mine. It's like, it's fine you brought this third party in, but they need to divulge the information because they're working for you, and you would, if you were doing it yourself, you would be obliged by law to give us this information.
Yeah.
But since you brought this third party in, we believe that they should also be obliged to divulge this information. To which that third party was like, no, we're not. So, it's been I don't know what eventually became of the lawsuit. It was one of those, the lawsuit wasn't for money, the lawsuit was for action.
Right.
And by the time it got kind of there, like everything was already out anyway. Because they'd already hired Noel, because of all these parts and pieces and bits and whatnot.
Who's it?
I lost my own train of thought. What? I lost my train of thought. Where did we start on Freedom of Information Act and public records, Chris?
Chief
no, I was just saying that in general, as a general rule, if the government hires a company, then that company should be treated like the government as far as standards and stuff go.
Yeah, they're considered a contractor.
Like I have a different
taxpayer money's going towards it.
I have a different standard for public and private entities.
Yeah,
like and maybe that's unfair of me. And I think previously I've argued the other way. Like we should treat them the same, or we should expect the same because they're all human beings, and human beings generally suck, and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, like as a government entity, we expect higher standard of professionalism and transparency and stuff like that. And if you want to bring, if you as the government want to bring a private company in who is likely better at whatever the task is than you are as the government, I love that. I really do. Like, because I think a private company is generally probably going to be better at doing the task, whatever the task is. But part of the contract as the private company is you don't get to hide behind anything. You get treated in the same, eyeball focus of from the public that the government did too. I think that's fair. I think that's fair and accurate. Like because I think to me the example of the Noel, thing where it is for pretty reasonable reasons why, like, to try to put a positive spin on it. Like I understand the reasoning why, if that's truly the reason why the Kincannon did it that way. I understand that, but that's a sad byproduct of a sad world we're in, that some other police department's going to punish one of their officers for trying to do better for himself. That sucks. That sucks in a different way. That's maybe worse. Maybe even if we got Noel fired and didn't hire him to come here, he's better off not being in the New Orleans Police Department if they're going to fire him for trying to find a better job. You know what I'm saying?
I think they would fire him, but I would say it shows disloyalty, but it's...
And backlash. Maybe when the chief job opens up in New Orleans, he gets put lower on the list because he was trying to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm Noel in that interview and they're like, well, we're a little worried about you going to some other municipality. It's like, look, if you were to offer me the chief job, if the chief job was up for here and Knoxville at the same time, I would have taken it here. It just wasn't.
Right.
Apparently, there's some more. There was deeper politics to that the current chief and the de facto chief that was going to be replacing that chief or whatever apparently was a pretty rigid, known kind of line of succession that was coming up. He wasn't in good standing with him anyway.
Yeah.
They didn't like his progressive ideas. I don't know what it was, but apparently they weren't a big fan of his in the first place. So
I've heard stories of years past of that happening in our sheriff's department.
So he was keen to get out of there anyway, which again doesn't help Concannon's argument of saying, well, if he was keen to get out of there, then him being uncomfortable about going public about wanting to find a new job is probably wasn't a problem for him. There may have been other candidates in the pool that it might have been an issue for, but not him.
Our former KPD chief went on to be head of TBI.
Right. So I don't know. Like I've been keeping up with. Trying to get. I need to get on doing a mayor's debate. It's interesting to me how I don't know. Maybe is it me or am I right in general? Like
it's probably
we had the debate and then we had the primary. And then it got cold. Like, not just cooled off, but like the entire campaign cycle, just like the campaigning in general got cold. And we're starting to get a little bit ticked in, like some of the state level stuff and this governor's race specifically is starting to do some stuff.
Right.
John Rose is
locally,
going nuts.
They don't have the war chest. Well,
I mean, I guess the question is on the local side of it, where we're coming into this local general, is it just everybody going like, look, we know the answers, for the most part here. Betsy will be the mayor. If we go down the ballot right now, I could probably pick that ballot pretty close today. Actually, I could probably. There's only one seat that I'm not uber confident that if we did the ballot right now, that I would have that ballot 100% right today. There's only one seat, and that's the District 3 race with Sherry Super and Honeycutt? No.
I think even with people that, are involved in actually, going and semi-regularly voting, like there's a level of burnout that you don't want to inundate them for months and months.
Let me catch my breath. Go about 5 minutes.
Right. Like, didn't we just do this?
Well, that's a running joke.
I don't think I've seen any Marsha ads, but maybe she thinks that she doesn't really have to market herself that much, or maybe she's going to wait a couple more months.
She's going to come down the proverbial golden escalator here in a couple weeks, and it's going to be on.
Yeah.
Like I think that's her strategy. Is like she's waiting because so with that one's in August, so I think like mid-July, so about a month and a half, 6 weeks from now, maybe somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks from now, she's going to come down the proverbial escalator, and it's going to be every time you look at anything. Marsha for governor, Marsha for governor, Marsha for governor. That being said, I got one.
Did you get a flyer?
I'm pretty sure I got a flyer from her. It might have been an attack flyer on her. She definitely had a picture on it, but now that I'm thinking it, I think it was in black and white and kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
So it might have been it might have been one of those
anti-pax.
But again, like Rose is going nuts right now. Like Rose is like, and I get the strategy from his side because I think it's the understated. He's like, look, she's got me dead to rights on name recognition statewide.
Right.
Like, my little corner of Tennessee knows me because I've been their their rep for years now, but the entire state of Tennessee has known her for a long time. I've got to make sure everybody knows who I am, and then I can make the argument of why I'm better than her. Because I'm tough like Trump, but I'm going to endorse like Trump. It's got like, I hope so badly. Am I crazy? Am I crazy to hope this? I hope so badly that while I understand the reason and why they're doing that, but I hope so badly that by the time we get to Election Day for the primary and these generals, that is not seen as a generic positive in mass. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not an idiot. There are a decent sum of people who anything like Trump is a winner to them. Those people exist, and they will continue to exist from now until the end of time. But for the masses in general, like I don't know. Like, am I crazy? I feel like I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I can't even finish a sentence. I'm so crazy.
I think it's a semi-risk. I mean, given the current federal approval rating,
it needs to be like it should be. Like that is the thing. Like I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this redistricting thing that we did in Tennessee, and I can't not think, oh shit, we might have 2 Democrats in Tennessee when this all shakes down. Now look, they redrew those things great. Don't get me wrong. Like the way they redrew it, as best as Tennessee can be all red, they drew it perfectly to get us there. But like, you know, they trimmed off a little bit of some of those Nashville districts that were keeping Nashville, all the seats that were in and around Nashville red. They had to trim little chunks of them off to put on these giant things that they're taking chunks of Memphis out of, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's one that stretches from like Memphis to Murfreesboro or something like that.
Yeah, and so it's like they're taking they had to take pieces out of other districts that weren't as strong as red as we think they are. So like I would not be surprised if we get 2 Democrats out of Middle Tennessee winning races this year. It would be crazy. Don't get me wrong. It would be surprising.
Didn't they redrew it wrong?
Well, but
I don't know if they would risk gaining 1 seat and to lose another seat.
Oh, but yes, but I think that's the folly of. I think it's the folly of the supermajority. I don't think it's a party particular. I think it goes both ways in different parties, depending on the state. But I think that's the folly of is that they don't like. You've got a district that you drew a couple years ago that just carved out some Democrat seat. We'll stay in Tennessee, for example. You carved out these Nashville Democrat seats from the federal House races that were, you know, when you gerrymandered them. I'm sorry, when you redistricted for political purposes into the new seat, it went, you know, it's a 55-45. Because at some point, because again, I think mathematically by elections, I think Tennessee, at least by people who bother to vote, if we go back and look at presidentials, governors, and senators' races, we're anywhere between 35 and 45% Democrats in the state of Tennessee, or 30. I hate the phrasing I just did. 35 to 45% of Tennesseans don't vote for Republicans in statewide elections.
Okay,
right. So if you spread that out, I mean it's not, you know, on the high end 45% is almost half. There's no amount of circling that you're going to do that isn't going to have to take a circle out of a neighbor that's going to take some of this.
Yeah.
You know, to me the most nefarious redistricting to me would be what we had per se, where you have Memphis. And it wasn't even Memphis in total. Like it was Memphis. It was like 80% of Memphis. That's a House district. Because that other 20% was more count than could be a House district. Like the more dirty version to me is that you make it so dense that like literally 99% of the population in that district is voting for that party. And so you have no chance for any of the other ones to have any amount of other party in those, because literally you have the other 20% of Memphis that's in a district that's 90% Republican. Because what do you do with those other people that are in that are basically in Memphis but not quite? at least as far as the House district goes. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but I mean, it seems a little bit more right that if you're going to be a representative for that area, you should represent that area, not everything stretching from
right
urban
Again,
to rural farmland.
In the reasonably shaped or whatever, I can't remember what the phrasing is. There's a phrase in the law about redistricting, about like it's supposed to be as minimum, like I can't remember, like as condensedly shaped as possible or something like that. Like that's the language is in there. It's just such a milly mouth phrase.
Term Rules Breaking Points, it was talking about, I don't know if it's like new redistricting rules, but apparently protecting incumbency can be used in their reasoning for redistricting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Clay really fucked that up. But yeah. So anyway, like the point being is, like so at some point to split Memphis into 3. Right, which theoretically, like if you had 3, we didn't change the total number of districts, right? So you had districts 7, 8, and 9, which were Western Tennessee, and 9 was Memphis, right? So 7 and 8 were big chunks of Western Tennessee that were all Republican districts that had the same number of people as District 9 and whatever. So to split those up, if for math's sake, 100% of old districts 7, 8, and 9 were 7 and 8 were 100% Republican, and 9 was 100% Democrat. You split those up against each other, you're going to have a third Democrats in each and 2/3 Republicans in each. If they were 100%.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the old District 9 was 100% more consistently Democrats than 7 and 8 were. 7 and 8 were probably 80-20 splits, maybe 85-15s, maybe 75-25 splits. Well, now you have a third that are hard Democrats, and then you have somewhere between a third of what's still in that new version of that same district that might be Democrats. You're towing a line here where you might be getting to that 50% threshold that you might sneak 2 Democrats that hold parts of Memphis and these other parts, but you also trimmed a little bit off of the Nashville area too that you were trying to trim off where Nashville Democrats were.
Right.
And so they're like mathematically, I think while on paper all 9 districts in the state of Tennessee are Republican districts historically in the new drawings of them, you've probably got like 4 that are pretty close. Maybe not super close, but pretty close. Close enough that you have some uniquely bad president and some uniquely negative events happening in real time coming into a midterm election that those seats might be in jeopardy. I think Tennessee, Nashville, and Memphis districts are probably right there.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean, am I crazy to think that this isn't it's a midterm. Midterms always go against the president.
Even before they did redistricting, that special election with Afton Bent.
She was very close. And
she did it was 10 or 15 points better than what the previous comparable election was as far as the split. That
was Waverly and shit, which is now part of one of these Memphis districts.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the totality of that district was perfectly, but some of the people that voted for Afton Bent are now in Memphis, quote unquote, district wise.
Yeah.
And so I really do I think I might be crazy. I am crazy, but I do think that there is a literal logical set of circumstances in play that this redistricting could actually end up with more Democrats representing Tennessee.
It's possible.
I mean, they can only get to one less. But it's just I feel like there's something that just overtakes you when you have the supermajority like we have in Tennessee. You can't help yourself. everything.
So there's maybe a chance of complacency. They're like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. We've got such a big majority.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think it's just. I don't think it's a complacency. I think it's an arrogance. I think it's a. We got away with this. We got away with that. Like there's something. And it's natural. I do it too. You do it. Everybody does it. You know, you go into the gas station and you steal one of those little 25-cent packs of gum. Go to the gas station next time. You steal another 25-cent pack of gum. Next time you go in there, you steal a larger pack of gum. You steal a bigger piece of candy. There is something inherent in the human condition that when you get away with something, you can't help it. You try to get away with a little bit more next time.
Right.
You're at least getting away with the same thing again, if not a little bit more next time, a little bit more next time. And now all of a sudden you're trying to walk out with a suitcase full of beer.
Right.
And they're like, what are you doing?
Well, part of that's that kind of like, why people get into extreme sports and things like that.
I've been stealing shit for years. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're always looking for that bigger high of that dopamine or adrenaline rush.
Jumping out of an airplane doesn't do it for me anymore. I'm now jumping out of spaceships.
Right.
That's a weird video. Have you watched that thing? The guy's the highest skydive ever?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy to me is it's a balloon. It's a hot air balloon, essentially.
Yeah. Right. So they're not going to build a tower that tall.
Well, but it's not
he's high enough that I'm pretty sure he saw a decent curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, it's something like 7 minutes before he opened the chute or something like that. Before he opened his main chute. Like apparently he had like some multiple chutes. Like there was a chute to slow down phase 1.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
multiple phases.
I don't know what
before.
speed he hit.
Yeah,
he had been wearing a special suit, getting like super hot from even just going that fast for the atmosphere. But he had that special suit to keep him from getting freezing his ass off,
right,
while he's going up there, and then he's got to stop from getting too hot,
right,
re-entering our atmosphere.
Exactly. So that guy that jumped out of the spaceship on a hot air balloon is the same as our Spiky Hair Lambeth character. Like I think that's where we're at in Tennessee. Like I truly do. Like not in a facetious. I'm not trying to be silly, sort of, but I think that's where we're at. It's we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. We can do more. We can do more. We can do more. We can do more. It's Icarus. Icarus is my favorite Greek mythology. My favorite piece of Greek mythology. Actually, it's not even Icarus. It's some random ass art piece that was the cover of one of my Western lit books when I was at UT. It's a Renaissance art piece called "The Fall of Icarus," and like it hit me like when it was explained to me what it was. Like it just like it was one of those like I'm sure you've had moments on and off in your life where like something you get an understanding of it and it just like a bullet to the chest, like right through you. Like the whole thing is just and your whole brain turns off for a second and then you reboot and you start seeing things differently. It's a like I said, it's a Renaissance.
Is that the Roman version of the Greek story of Nike of trying to get too close to the sun and burning?
Right.
Same story.
This is the art piece right here, and it's a Dutch. I believe it was a Dutch artist. This one, it's in the Royal Museum of Fine Arts in Belgium. Landscape with the Fall of Icarus is the title of the piece by Peter Bruegel the Elder, and it is in Brussels. But this is the cover of the book.
Yeah. Right?
And it's just this landscape piece. You got a farmer with his plow, and you got a big ship out in the this, I don't know, like kind of Gulf or inlet of some sort or whatever. And just over here in the bottom corner, you see two little legs hitting the water. And
I didn't even notice that.
Right. That this was like my Western lit professor at UT that was explaining the cover of this book to us. And I was like, I didn't notice that. Like I said the same thing. I didn't notice that. And like it just got me thinking about stuff. And it's like it is this great epic story that we all know. And there's the moral of the story of like, don't go too high, don't go too far, don't go too crazy, because the thing that is working for you is working for you. If you push it too far, it might break. Right? That's the general moral of the thing. Be aware of what you're doing, kind of stuff like that. But to me, what the art piece says to me is it's always like it's also, if you get right down to the brass tacks of it, you, the individual, even the super famous individual Icarus, nobody even noticed. Like, nobody saw it. He just fell in the water and died. Like, you're not that, like he's not that special. Nothing was that special about him. This goes for the Lamberts and, like, as I'm doing this analogy in real time, this goes for the Lamberts and the Zacharys and all these assholes in Nashville doing their thing. Like, they are high on their own supply, and they're going to keep pushing, and they're going to keep pushing on the stupid shit, and it's going to backfire. And when it does, there's going to be a small group of Democrats that are going to be like, haha, you fucking idiots, and they're going to make fun of him for a while and keep him relevant. But then 5, 8, 10 years from now, they're just going to kind of disappear from the record. They'll be there. We'll go back in time and we'll look and we'll say this law is getting changed and we'll look and where it came from. But for the most part, as far as legacy as a human being, nobody's going to care. In a decade, 2 decades, like who was I mean, the federal House is not a good example because I was about to say, who do we have before Burchett? Duncan. Who do we have before Duncan? Duncan. Who do we have before that? I don't know. That was in the 30s or 40s at that point. But for state house members, like, nobody's going to care about you. Like, nobody's going to know who you are or who you were. You're just going to disappear. You're just going to fall into the background.
I mean, I'd say most Tennesseans, probably don't remember Marcia's time in the state house.
Right. I don't.
Or Senate, whatever. I'm not sure.
Right. I don't remember anything about her.
Yeah.
As far as she's a Nashville Republican. Northeast Nashville?
Yeah, don't know what her district was.
I want to say it was north. It was north of Nashville. It was northeast, northwest Nashville. Pretty sure it's east. Was her Senate district or whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't, like, nobody cares. Nobody ever cared in the first place. You made your life out of it, and that's fine or whatever. But, like, this legacy building thing. Now, Trump's got his whole separate something. There is some legitimacy to the presidential legacy sickness, which I think is where truly is where Trump is right now. All he gives a shit about is this fucking ballroom and this 250 thing, which does suck. Like, God damn it, Democrats. Fucking really. I'm so mad at Democrats now. Like, I'm even madder now.
What issue are you taking issue with?
Huh?
Which one of the things are you taking issue with?
Well, I mean, just like you had to have field such a you between Biden and Harris, you fielded such bad candidates that we have Trump presiding over our 250th anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, that could have been like any half decent Democrat that wasn't those two. The totality of their campaign is like, do you guys really want this dude presiding over our 250th anniversary? That could have been the whole campaign pitch. Because I mean, I don't know. Man, I don't fucking know. Like, his stupid ballroom is not going to be done.
Right.
I'm going to be driving. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
You're going to be driving?
On the 4th of July this year?
No.
We'll be our vacation rental starts on the 4th of July.
There's too many people traveling on that day.
It should be a good day to be on the road.
Right.
I agree with that. And we'll be out early enough. Like, I'm not going to be dealing with any traffic going or to or from any events. I am a little like, I mean, we're going to be in Charleston. They should probably put on a pretty good fireworks show off the Fort Sumter or something.
Possibly. That's something to look up.
I don't know
see
that
if they even do anything.
Right. But I mean, but it's going to be one of those, like, do I really want to do the 6-hour drive? Drop our stuff off and then go try to find a place to go watch a fireworks show?
Right.
And fight the locals who know where to hang out?
If you really want to watch fireworks.
I mean, it is 250, man. Come on, get excited about it. I like fireworks, too. Don't get me wrong. But it's 250. Like, everybody should be balling out. Well, actually, that might be an interesting little economic study to do. Like, what's the average spend from a municipality on a 4th of July?
Depends on how extravagant.
It'll be up this year.
I mean, like, D.C., definitely. I think they put on, like, one of the biggest, like, fireworks shows.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta does. Is Atlanta?
I
mean, look, shit, like, you got Knoxville used to do the biggest
like Labor Day
thing.
Yeah. But it was like the biggest in the Southeast, right?
No, it was biggest period.
Was it really? Okay.
Pretty sure. Because I don't think anybody else really did it. It's a weird one to do.
Yeah. I think that's why they did it on that day.
Need to do it. They need to bring it back.
No one else is doing it?
Listen, Kendra. I'll run the thing. I'll get it put together. I do need to get paid for this. Don't get me wrong. But we'll figure it out and we'll get it done. Like, it was... I don't know. It's like that was a signature Knoxville event. Like the city doesn't.
Yeah, but I don't know how much the city made off of it. That's the thing. Because
it
was free to go to.
Right, they don't make anything.
I don't know if they got a cut of like the vendors or anything like that.
No, what they make, I mean, it's hotel motel tax revenue. It's, I mean, it's all that stuff.
Right.
You know, it's all the businesses that had great days going, this is why I pay my taxes. That's what that's for the city. And that's city residents going, this is why I pay more in taxes. Now, I guess there are some city residents saying, I pay more in taxes to put up with this. And it does get a little complicated.
Yeah. I've got to go buy CBD treats for my dogs.
I was driving, we were driving back, so running some errands. I had the youngest with his half arm broken cast thing. We were driving down 40 going west, and that big solar field that's right there, just inside 640 on the north side of 40. It's where the big city building.
Seen a couple of them.
There's a city building. There's a city complex over there.
Yeah.
Which got me started on, like, I was like, man, it's weird. You don't think about it, and I didn't think about it till recently. The amount of property the city of Knoxville, Knox County, and the state of Tennessee own in Knox County, it's kind of crazy. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, that solar field you were talking about, that's city property. City built those solar panels, and I guess I don't know exactly how they sit on the grid. Like, I don't know if it's fed into KUB, and then they just pay their regular KUB bill, or if it takes the power that they use in the buildings that are right there around it,
right?
And then any excess goes to KUB, or vice versa, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how that back and forth works in that whole thing, but I was like, yeah, it's crazy how much. Like, I mean, if you think, like, you know, the easy ones are parks and schools, you know. And then you have the actual courthouse and stuff downtown. Those are the easy ones. It's like, I was thinking about it too. It's like that office that's right there behind those solar panels. Like, I don't even know what that office is. It's the city engineering complex or something like that. And it's like, why do we have a city engineering complex? Like, what are we doing out of that building? Because, like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. It's one of those rabbit holes I need to go down and really go down, like, department by department. Be like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? And where do you operate out of? And why do you have a building? Why do you have a nice building, for that matter?
Well, maybe it's cheaper to rent out there than it is to put them in.
That's city property.
Yeah.
So city, you know, I mean,
maybe it was cheaper to have the office there.
Well,
versus,
I mean, to be fair, 9 out of 10 properties that are the cities, they're not buying. Most of them they take in tax situations. And so, to be fair to that point of it, it's like they didn't buy the property, so they didn't pay the $1 million for the acre.
All right.
But they put a $5 million building on top, or whatever, the parking lot, or whatever it is. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. Like, it just, I don't know. It got me going down the rabbit hole of this different stuff. And then I went on a fucking rant at him about going Metro and, like, how dumb not Metro is to me.
All right.
Like, it really is. Like, the more I think about it, it's dumb. Like, and especially, like, just little bits and bobs of it. Like, Knox County Roads Services building is right there in the Happy Holler.
On city property.
And their fleet services in the city of Knoxville, which I don't think they place. I'm pretty confident they don't pay city property tax. They might. I doubt it. But then right across 275 on Baxter is the city of Knoxville Roads and Engineering Complex, which is just a building with some offices in it, and a workshop, and every road closed sign and cones and all the different stuff that they have.
And as far as the county goes, would you consider that centrally located?
It's fairly centrally located in the county,
okay, yeah.
Sure. And the county owns the piece of property, so it's not like it costs them anything per se.
Yeah,
I mean, they're building a giant new building on that piece of property right now. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but they're building a big new building on there right now. It's just one of those, like, it's to me, again, like, I've made this argument 1,000 times. I apologize, listeners, to repeat myself, but city-county building is dumb. Sell it to Palms, get the state to change our casino laws, and move the city-county building somewhere else. That is a that is one of the most prime-ass pieces of property we have in Knoxville. Like, that is a prime property.
Yeah.
Like, even just like Hilton or some nice hotel brand would build a gorgeous, nice hotel right there that would demand top dollar. Like, can you imagine, like, game day hotel rooms in a nice semi-luxury hotel building right there where the city county building is? That'd be like $500-$700 a night. Maybe most nights at $1,500 on a game day weekend or something like that. Overlooking the river, all that kind of stuff. Like, we don't like, City of Knoxville fails miserably on a lot of things. We don't use the river as much as we should in the downtown area. We need water taxis. We need, like, the South Side sucks. It still does. Sorry, South Side people. Sevier Avenue is pretty cool. But, like, apparently the city's about to, I think this was, they announced last week, they're looking for, I think it's called a request for qualifications for developers to develop the landing site for the pedestrian bridge. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they want multi-use this, and they want, you know, all, like, they want some ground level retail and some office space with some apartments or condos or something on top. And it's like, it's a shitty spot. Like, there's no way it's not a shitty spot because the infrastructure sucks. Even with the footbridge, the infrastructure still sucks. Have you been over there recently? Down there?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So I drove down there a couple months ago. Like, I intentionally got myself lost back there because I had a little bit of time to kill to get to a meeting. And, like, I knew about it anyway, and I just ended up just kind of wandering because it's like, you know, you come up from the south side, you just kind of drive north, you're going to hit somewhere, and it's going to force you either to Alcoa Highway or Chapman Highway, right?
Yeah.
Like, you
I've taken that back road a few times.
You can't get too lost in there. It's like you just keep going, and eventually you're going to hit Chapman or Alcoa or the river.
Or John Sevier.
Right. You hit the river, you're going left or right.
Right.
You know? And so, like, I end up in some weird roundabout that's in the middle of some apartment complex. And I go around the roundabout, and I take the first exit out of the roundabout, which gets me on the west side of Sevier, going towards Chapman Highway, to which you pass through a one-lane train bridge that has a stoplight for it to get to Chapman Highway and turn right.
Yeah.
That is a definitional choke point. There is no planet where, if that is the conditions of access to that area is ever going to grow well. Even with a footbridge you can ride your bike over to campus with. It's not going to change that.
That's a pretty decent-sized apartment complex there that's right on the other side of that bridge.
Yeah, on both sides of the bridge.
Is it on either side? Yeah.
I mean, there's the one right off of, like, there's the one on Henley and Chapman.
Right. On the opposite side of Chapman.
On both sides of Chapman. There's one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
There's a big one on both corners.
Right, yeah.
And then the one on the one side runs into the Regas building, and then it stops at Gay Street. And then the cliff falls off and all that kind of stuff. Moral of the story is the south side sucks. Our access to the south side sucks. We don't have Gay Street Bridge anymore. So if you want the south side to develop, if the city is really interested in that, they got to build more bridges. And it maybe not literal bridges. They have to build more access. Access sucks. And if you can't fix the access problem, you're never going to make... Like, well, one, they're going to ruin that neighborhood that's in there first and foremost. It's already ruined. If it's not already ruined, it's going to be in any moment. Because it's an old school single family 1,000 square foot little house on a little lot neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's going to get all destroyed and chewed up and turned into a bunch of apartment complexes. Fine, whatever. But those apartment complexes are going to fail. Because you want to have a 500 unit apartment complex that you can't drive in and out of? Have you lost your mind? Like, what are we talking about? There's no way you're going to have, like, they're going to fail. It has to, like, the small house, the small neighborhood that's there is what logically makes sense with the logistics they have to get in and out of it. And until the city of Knoxville can figure out how to fix that, it's never going to change. And the number one A underscore repeat is Norfolk Southern, or whoever owns that train that runs through there, has complete control over whether the south side of Knoxville ever gets to be decent. And if we know anything about trains, they don't give a fuck. They're not going to expand that bridge. They're not going to do anything. Even if the city of Knoxville offers to pay for it, they're going to be like, nah. No, don't fuck with our trains. Leave us alone.
All right.
And as long as that train line sits there, access to that section of the south side of Knoxville is going to suck.
I don't know the frequentness of trains, but essentially you'd have to shut down any and all train traffic.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, you can float it. You've got to be able to float it. Like, I mean, Knoxville, Ebenezer's
looks pretty old.
Ebenezer's Knoxville, right? Like, it's in the city, or is it county? It's right there on the edge of the back and forth. I mean, county or city did something and got them to build rebuilt going over Ebenezer right there.
Right. That somehow I've just blocked it out of my memory.
I mean, but that was a huge project.
Right.
I remember that distinctly because what was there before? Do you remember what was there before? I remember this very distinctly. I have a very scarred image in my head of the time I missed the bus coming home from Bearden High School, and I just walked home. I was like, I'll just walk home. So I walked all the way down Gleason, which is 2 lanes with no shoulder.
Yeah.
To get to Ebenezer at the time, and it was while this was under construction. Ebenezer at the time was 2 lanes, no shoulder, that went up what would be the east side of where it currently sits. Just went up and over the tracks and back down. And it was 2 lanes, no shoulder, all proper Tennessee red clay. It had rained recently, so it was Tennessee red mud. And so I'm walking up the street, and there's a car coming down the hill because I'm doing it correctly. Public service announcement, everybody, just so you guys know, if you're walking on the road, you walk on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
Just to make sure everybody's clear on that. So you walk on the left side of the road. Why? So that you can see if somebody's about to hit your ass. So I'm walking on the left side of the road correctly, and somebody's coming down the other way, and I step over to the very edge of the white line, which is still sort of pavement and starting to turn into dirt, and this car's coming, and he's not seeming to shift over to the center, which I assume in hindsight means that there's somebody coming their way. I don't remember. He didn't feel like getting out of my way, so I step over into what I was hoping was solid red. It was liquid mud, and I went past knee deep instantly into that mud.
Yeah.
To which I dug my happy ass out of, got back onto the street, got over that bridge, and walked the rest of the way back to my house. And then immediately got naked, took a shower, and threw my clothes in the laundry room and made my mom
clean my dirty outfits. No socks were pink ever since.
Yeah. And so, anyway, it's possible, this is the moral of the story. I don't know how much the county had to pay for that or the city, whomever did that. However, that project broke down.
That track there is actually pretty frequent.
Yeah, and it gets used a lot.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. But, as far as I know, it never interrupted service for the train in the building of that bridge.
Right. They did the work where Gallagher runs into Ebenezer. It used to be shifted down a little bit, I guess, closer to Ebenezer Road, and it was this crazy steep little drop.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of. Anyway, it's possible to get done. I just don't know that the city has the means or relationships or whatever it is to get that bridge opened up. I don't see a way that that's going to get better. South Knoxville is just going to continue. Not to mention, if it's not UT affiliated, what's the fucking point?
I mean, going along Chapman, they've been building up CAT systems, adding more bus stops, adding decent bit, I think, of infrastructure. Which I did see there's some CAT line around.
There's no new infrastructure. Maybe there's more CAT infrastructure, but there's no new physical infrastructure back in there. They redid Sevier, and they've widened Sevier. No, they narrowed Sevier and widened the sidewalks and did some roundabouts on Sevier on the east side.
I thought I heard just going down Chapman. I thought they'd been doing some stuff.
They're going to close down half of James White Parkway over there. And because that doesn't get any traffic anyway. They're going to close down and turn that into a greenway. But as far as actual street and access to vehicle traffic and stuff like that, I don't think there's much new back in there. You still you take the little split, would you go right there in front of Dickerson, where it splits off? Chapman goes straight, and then
it's Martin Mill, I think.
You're right. When you go over there, and it kind of weaves back in there, it's still a mess back in there.
Right.
There's still a 1-lane train bridge back in there too, where you could because you can get over to John Sevier. John Sevier?
I'm not sure. I used to kind of know my way a little bit around there.
You can get you can get down in there and do some stuff, but it's still all 2-lane little whatever.
Yes. There's a way to go. Yeah, there's a way to go out to John Sevier from there.
Right, because you get out to John Sevier there, and you get over to Alcoa or get over to Chapman again.
Yeah,
if you wanna. But it's still just kind of a mess and whatever. Now, I think when you get over to Alcoa, it's now like a interstate entrance instead of it being like you're on Alcoa trying to take a left.
Yeah, they've been working on
Alcoa. But that's all that shit that's on Alcoa that's supposed to be done spring, right? Didn't I say? I saw the sign on the airport exit that said spring of 26. They were going to finish the Alcoa project. Maybe fall.
That's a pretty expansive project. They've been doing all along there. I think right now they're working on like that roundabout right there by UT Medical Center and Alcoa Highway and that whole interchange.
Yeah, it's not going to finish in. I know the sign said 2026. They ain't going to be done in 2026.
Right.
Guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that project was they started working on Alcoa Highway when I was in college at UT.
Yeah, they've been working on it for a long time.
I mean, so I graduated in 2005. Well, no, I graduated in December of 2004. If you want to get technical. That's a 21-year project. And what's funny to me is last time I drove it from downtown towards the airport, or maybe the other way, there's not a lot of traffic. I was like, man, I figured there'd be a decent amount of traffic. Not that it was going to go slow. I figured it'd move pretty quick because of all this stuff that's going on. But I figured there'd be a decent number of cars. And I was like,
At times I drove on it when construction was still kind of going on, kind of more like light construction, nothing too hardcore. Traffic was still pretty heavy.
Yeah, I did
moderate to heavy.
I did feel like there was a lot going on there, but alas, whatever. I don't know. This is, but like Alcoa,
speed of the roads crew.
The Alcoa Highway project is the perfect example to me of why we're fucked in Knox County, because state of Tennessee has passed a law to permit the construction of a task force to look into figuring stuff out. And the task force is starting to do their thing to figure out how to get interstate traffic eased in Knox County.
With a goal of trying to figure something out by 2028.
Right.
Which means they won't
start working until 2030.
Right.
Which means by the Alcoa Highway standard, which means 2050, we might have this orange line that everybody's been talking about for, 30 years already.
Yeah.
Might be done. Or might be completed by 2050. We might have some real ease to the congestion on the interstates in Knoxville by 2050. Way to go. What are we supposed to be? Yeah, I'm just going to make random noises at this point because I don't know what to say. There's nothing to say to that. It's like, that is inefficiency. That is failure at bottom line levels. Like, this isn't like this because it's not new.
Right.
It wasn't new 10 years ago. It wasn't new when they started the project to expand 40 through Knoxville. And by the time they finished, it was already overcrowded.
Right. I don't think it would have been that profitable given, most public sentiment. But, I've brought it up before. They used to have the 5 counties, 1 vision, which was supposed to be like rail, basically, from like here to Maryville, here to Chattanooga, here to Johnson City.
I mean, I agree, and I think that's a failure of education, and it's a lot. And again, like it's.
Well, at the time, gas wasn't that expensive. People love driving their cars. I love driving a car.
I agree, but something like that's. But you got to sell it. You've got to sell it, and you can't sell it to. It's hard to sell to stupid people. People that can't rationalize the realities of what the future might look like.
Well, you kind of have to have a decent enough kind of like bus system infrastructure in there as well, because great, you can get a cheap, quick ride up to Johnson City once you get there.
But my point is, if you don't have an engaged, intelligent public,
right,
you can't sell anything. You're just going to have a complaining, unintelligent, unengaged. The only engagement they do is yell at you about being wrong all the time. Like I go back to one that I think it was Larson. The first time I interviewed Larson ever, we were talking about different stuff, and we got into this thing. It's like one of the things that he was really frustrated with. And this is one of the reasons I kind of like Larson. That's why I voted for Larson for in the primary. Wait, did I just admit a crime? Anyway, one of the reasons I voted for Bright. That's one of the reasons that's the statement he made to me in that interview was mildly profound. Insofar as he's like, look, one of the hardest things to do is infrastructure. It's one of the most important things we do as commissioners, because he was commissioner. He's still commissioner now. And the problem with it is you can't build a road to nowhere. You can be right that that's where growth is,
right,
and that's where growth is going to come.
But convincing taxpayers that
right,
was worth their
15
dollars.
years from now, that $20 million you spent on that project will make sense. But we still got to get elected in 5 years.
Right.
we still got other things to do, and there's all these other things that are more immediate right now, and this, that, and the other. It's like you can't ever properly prepare as a municipality. And when he said that, I didn't really think about it that much, although I was like, oh, that's a really smart thing. Okay, cool, interesting. But the more I've thought about it and more I've kind of internalized that is an illustration of our public lack of foresight. We can't see why that might be a good idea. All we can see is right in front of our faces and what the short term is.
Right.
And and again, like, like kudos to Larson for understanding that, but, bad on me, bad on you, bad on the public in general for going like, wait a minute, but he's right. Like, that's right. It's correct. We need to figure this out.
Well, I think a lot of people had that sentiment, across a wide swath
of, sure, 100%
of their life.
But I think but again, that's why I jokingly said that's a failure of education. Like, like the old marshmallow experiment thing, which apparently turns out to be bullshit anyway. But like the premise of that marshmallow experiment that they always talk about with kids, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That marshmallow experiment, like the premise is like, that's who we are as a voting public. We're the kid that can't wait 2 minutes.
Right.
There's a marshmallow in front of me. I'm going to eat it. Doesn't matter if I get 5 marshmallows in 5 minutes if I just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much I like the better prize. I can't say no to the prize that's in front of me now. And that's got to be a teachable thing, right? That's got to be something we can educate our kids on. We certainly do it in some facets with our children. We try to educate them on,
teach them patience,
on
delayed
gratification.
Yeah.
Like, that's something we do teach our kids. It's like, but do we put any effort into putting a broader picture on what that actually means? Is it just literally, you're putting in the work today to learn how to read so that you can have a job in the future, so that you can work and buy things and be happy or whatever.
Right.
Like, is that all that matters? Is just, like, I don't know. Like, I think, this is probably the most fucking social communist, whatever. I'm not exactly sure what phrasing I'm ever going to say. Is like, I think we fail to teach our kids how to be community people and how to see the community for what it is instead of what we want it to be or what we think it should be. To see it for what it is and see and think about it in terms of how can we make things better long term, not today. I think it's one of my issues with the way we deal with homeless. The way we deal with homeless is, well, let's make sure they have food. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it, but it's not a fix. That's just a continuation of the problem.
Right.
It's like Martha LaRue is great, and I think Care Cuts is a cool thing that they're doing because it is other services other than food, but it's just kind of like it's just instant short-term fixes. It's like, yeah, but when you get to know somebody really well that comes and uses your service regularly, it's great that they're using your services and they're willing to deal. They're willing to kind of take that bit of humbleness and accept the help, but they're still coming back to you, which means they're not getting better. Things aren't getting better for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's disagreement of like the best course of action. I think in recent years, more municipalities have pushed for like housing first, which
I'm a fan.
I think do what?
I'm a fan of.
I think it makes sense. Give someone a stable place.
Right.
Even, you know, you've seen a number of stories of somebody that has a property and they buy a bunch of like little tiny sheds or whatever and turn them into basically like little one-bedroom studios.
Right.
But even that, they give someone to put an address down, you know, for an application. Give them someplace they can lock up their belongings and, you know, a dry place to lay their head down.
To me, it's housing first and mental health. Period. If you get you focus on those two things, you're going to take 90% out.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just are because, like, I mean, like I was taught, like, again, same driving around with my kid was like, you know, I was like, look, man, there at some level there's a percentage, not a significant, but not an insignificant number of people who just like it. They just enjoy it. Yeah. It works for them.
There's some people like that kind of quote unquote transient lifestyle, where they do travel around. Yeah,
they dig on it, they wander it, they jump on it, they full on old school hobo it. They jump on an empty boxcar on a train and end up in 3 states over and keep doing what they're doing there, and wander over here, wander over there. They take advantage of the services that are available, and stuff like that.
Sense of freedom, almost.
There's nothing we can do. Like, those people are just going to be those people.
Yeah.
But that is not the majority of the people. The majority of the people are either mentally sick or can't get over a hurdle. There's a hurdle somewhere in it to them, whether it's substance abuse hurdle, whether it's a mental situation hurdle, whether it's just a straight up, I can't get a job because I don't have an address, or I don't have clothes to go to the work day. I don't have a place to go at the end of the day. I don't, and those are things that we as a community fail at. Because we are unwilling to look at a big picture solution. We're only willing to look at the short term, or and then this is one of the probably one of the more socialist, communist things that I truly believe is that City of Knoxville needs to make it hard. I think if city and county, if you want to do it right, you need to make it hard for nonprofits to cater to the homeless. You need to make it difficult, and you need to make it specific. You can't just feed them. You can't just do it. If you want to feed them, great, but you have to feed them and something. Food is not a problem for homeless people in Knox County. We don't need more food handouts. We need other. And again, I think you're right. I think housing first is the correct model. We need places for them to stay, and we need mentors and counselors to work with them. We need really, really good professionals to sort the people that need mental help. We need a mental health institution back in Knox County.
Right. Do they just need to get back on their meds, etc.?
Right. But we need people that can identify, are these people truly mentally unstable, and do we need to actually put them into institutions, or do we need to we need a sorting system? We need the Harry Potter sorting hat for homeless. If you're a church or some nonprofit that wants to help the homeless, that's what you need to. That's what we need to figure out, and whether it's a joint effort between municipalities and nonprofits. But we need that's to me is what is missing in this. There's no. How do we figure out what these individuals need, and move forward instead of just, oh, you showed up, here's the thing. Oh, you showed up, here's the thing.
Right.
Oh, you showed up, here's the thing.
Here's a packed lunch.
Right, or you're going to jail. That's how Knox County deals with it.
I mean, by law, they made being homeless illegal.
Not really. Parts and pieces of it.
I thought that was the gist of a law that was passed.
I mean, there is some sleeping on public property stuff, but you can't I think it's constitutionally you can't make it criminal for somebody to not have an address or an ID or shit like that. If you're on public property, if you're on private property, sure. We have all sorts.
I think either one, you can essentially be considered trespassing, and there's no real in between. You're either on public property or on private property. Yeah, but it's really hard to get trespassed off of public property. If there's a dude sitting on a bench in Market Square who's clearly homeless, it's obvious from looking at him. If they're not doing anything, there are some ordinances or stuff like that about sleeping on benches. Or, yeah, that's about it. Which I mean, actually, I don't know if there's ordinances. They've got the city and cat buses and stuff have gone kind of out of their way to make it hard to sleep on. Make it. Yeah, I've seen some of the designs where they've made them kind of jagged or whatever. Well, they the bus stop one's my favorite one, which is kind of smart. Actually, it's kind of smart. It's not a bench. It's a just kind of a butt lean. It's like a metal. What would normally be a bleacher, but instead of it being flat, it's at a 45-degree angle, so you can lean against it, but you can't lay down on it or anything. That's kind of sad, just for the elderly that somebody that's again, but it's one of those it's one of those. There's no real good solution for it. If you don't have anywhere to sleep, and I mean, legitimate again, kid in the car, went down to the holler because we were running an errand. And I had some trash in the back of the truck, and so I stopped at our dumpster, threw it in there. Right next to our dumpster, there's a guy sleeping on the ground. Yeah. And it's I don't know. I don't know. He might be the vagrant type. He might be the one that enjoys it. He might be fucking legitimately crazy. Or he might have just had a bad series of things happen in his life that just made it so this was the best option he had. I don't know. Yeah. And that's my point. That's where we fail as a society.
with our
I can't
government.
remember the percentage. There's a number of homeless that are former vets.
Yeah. Well, most of them are getting houses, though.
So
we've got that project that my kid might help build because West High School is one of the schools that's helping build the the thing. Right. So there's a ton of vets, which they're probably a good number of them are probably on the crazy side too, because they had to go through some crazy shit that nobody should have to go through.
But I think like the closest local like actual VA hospitals up in like Johnson City. There's a couple offices here for a few different services.
I'll never get over that was the most weird experience ever with my sister-in-law. The broken ankle thing. Did I tell that story on the show?
Not sure.
So I get an email from my sister-in-law. She says, "I think I might have broke my leg. I'm not sure, but I left my phone at work. So all I can do is email." So I email her back. I'm like, "You want me to come pick you up and go down and we pick up your phone, or you want me to go pick up your phone and come pick you up?" She's like, "Whichever works for you." So I go down and park. She works on the square. So I go park in the short-term parking, put my blinkers on, go into her job. I was like, "Hey, I think my sister left her phone here." She's like, "Yeah, is she okay?" I was like, "I don't know. She said she might have broke her leg." She's like, "Yeah, I don't know." It's like, "Cool. Well, I'm gonna get her phone to her so she can call you and figure out what's going on work-wise, and then we can figure out what we got to do about this." And so I go over to her house and I pick her up, and I can't remember. Did she have crutches? I don't know if she had crutches. No, she had her cane. When years ago, she's had back and knee issues from her military service for years. So she's had canes and has walked with canes on and off for a while. And so she's got her foot you wrapped up in some ice and stuff like that, and kind of hobbles out on her cane. I throw her in the car, and we go out to the VA out here on by the Target, the VA hospital.
Ray Mears?
Yeah, Ray Mears. And, we're driving out there. It's like, "What happened? Tell me a story, blah, blah, blah." She tells me the story, and it's, a little bit safe phasing, whatever. I'm not going to out her on that, on what I think happened versus what the story she told happened. But, she's like, it was bad. It was gross. It's like black and blue, nasty. Yeah. It's like, this is gross looking. And so I was like, we pull up, and I pull under the little awning at the VA, and I get out. I was like, I'm going to go grab you a wheelchair.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to hobble in here when we have wheelchair access. So I grab her wheelchair, drop her in the wheelchair, roll the door. I was like, "I'm going to go park real quick. I'll be right back." Let's go inside. And for all our military listeners, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been there. But there's like 9 windows in this weird little triangle shape. Like as you walk into the room, it's like seating areas on either side. And there's like a triangle like falling away from you. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's like a step. Like there's a window on the front where you can go talk to somebody there, and then there's all these different windows, and above each window there's some letters. But like most of the windows have the shade down and the lights are off, and there's only like 2 windows that have people behind them, and both of those have people sitting in front of them. And so we're kind of waiting there for a second, and I come back in and I was like, "So what do we do?" She's like, "I'm not exactly sure." I was like, "Okay." So we just wait for a window to open up, and so we roll over to the window, and the guy on the other side of the window is clearly on the phone. And so we're just kind of waiting for him to acknowledge us, and like so he kind of does the number where he puts the phone down on his chest for a second. He's like, "How can I help you guys?" She's like, "I think I broke my ankle." And he's like, "Okay, hey, let me call you back." Hangs up the phone with his finger, keeps the phone in his hand, hits the page button, calls nurse blah 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 to blah blah blah, and he's like, "Okay, the nurses will be out in just a second." I'm like, "Okay." I'm just standing back here. She's dealing with stuff. Nurse walks out, and we're still right there in front of this guy's window. Like, no instruction, no correction, no anything. We're just sitting there. And nurse comes out, asks my sister, says, "What happened?" She's like, "I think I might have broke my ankle." She's like, "Why didn't you go to the ER?" I don't know. And so she says something into her walkie and just starts pushing her in the wheelchair over this other direction. And I'm just kind of standing there going, like, am I supposed to do something? Does she need to go to the ER? Because I can take her to the ER. I don't care. I'm here. And they don't say a word to me. They don't acknowledge that I even exist. And they just keep pushing her away. And so my sister-in-law kind of leans over the side of the wheelchair. She's like, "I'll call you later." It's like, okay, guess I'm out of here. So I come in the car and I come home. And like 3 hours later, she calls me. She's like, "Hey, I'm at the ER at UT. They're about to discharge me. Could you pick me up, take me home?" It's like, yeah.
So they took her down there?
Yeah, no problem. But it's just like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on here? I'm so confused. Like,
I think that one there is not really considered a hospital.
No, it's not. And I get why they wouldn't do those things here, but it's like her understanding as a,
someone with VA insurance.
A person who uses the services is like, you go there, you go to the VA. That's what you do. Like, if it's not like, it wasn't emergent, obviously, because it'd been like 24 hours by the time we got there. Since the incident, or no, it'd been like 10 hours.
All right.
But like, she, when she broke it, to when she finally got a hold of me through email, to me to get her phone and go pick her up and all these things that happened, it was like 10 hours later. It's not an emergency.
Right.
Like, it's not.
Right. It's something, most people without the VA insurance probably would have gone to a walk-in clinic.
Right. Well, it's like, I mean, me with little man and his broken arm, we let him go to school for a week and finally
it still hurts. Like, all right, let's go.
Finally took him to walk in because it was still bothering him, and then go to whatever. So it's like, again, like, it's just one of those. It's like, this is like, to be fair, it's not just like the VA is doubly broken, and the way they treated me as a family member pissed me off. It still pisses me off to this day. And like, there's no conversation, there's no discussion, there's no explanation, nothing. Like,
what did you expect them to tell you before they had even taken her back to evaluate?
I don't know. They could be like, "Hey, thanks for bringing her down.
Here, we'll
be in touch." Anything? I don't know. You're alive. You're a human being, and are worth being acknowledged as a human being. That would be a starting point. Like, hey, thanks for driving around here. We'll take care of her from here. That would have been a reasonable answer. But nothing? Like, literally, hey, do you need me to take her to the ER? Because if you're saying she needs to go to the ER, I can take her there. Which, again, 3 hours later, she calls me back. She calls me and says, hey, I'm about to get discharged.
Right.
How many hours did she sit? How many of those 3 hours was she still in the VA waiting for the van or whatever it is to drive her down to UT?
Right.
Maybe it was immediate. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But
like, literally, they probably have an X-ray machine there, so they were probably able to X-ray it. And
I asked him, "What can I like? Do you need me to take her to the ER?" No, we got it from here. That would have been enough.
Yeah.
Dismissive, even like, no, fucking idiot. We got it from here. That would have been something. But literally, I don't exist. Was what my experience in the VA was. It doesn't really matter. My whole point in this argument is the whole fucking medical system's broken as shit anyway. Because both you and I and her obviously go, I am hurt fairly badly. I don't know what the correct thing to do right now is. Do I go to the ER? Because it's not an emergency. And we hear all the time about people going and filling up ERs with non-emergent issues.
Right.
But it's also 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. It's super early. My regular care provider, I don't have an appointment with. It's a big issue.
Weekend. Yeah.
Right. It's an issue for me to get an appointment with my doctor. I don't know what to do here, and so I do the thing that I'm supposed to do, and then I get chastised for it from the people there because I don't understand. That's a fucking problem that may not be the same. I don't know. We got really random on these last set of problems. Not as bad as the idiot-ass homeless... I don't know. Fuck. All right, let's get weird.
Oh, give me a second here.
No, I gave you no prep. I gave you no warning that it was coming. You should be ready. You have one job, bro. Be beautiful, and you are. You're right. You're perfect.
Let's see here. So it was a good one last week.
Last week?
Yep. Holy deception. Come on, loading. Poor signal. Rome's, quote, sexy priest calendar star never set foot in a seminary. A calendar featuring close-ups of young, handsome men in priestly attire has been a perennial Rome souvenir for the last 2 decades. But few, it seems, are actually men of the cloth.
Huh. So you're telling me that a soft porn calendar creator is having a hard time getting priests to pose for their soft porn calendar.
Maybe.
So they faked it. Huh.
Maybe because there wasn't enough hunky men of the cloth to sell enough calendars
come on,
that year.
Man, you know better than that. There's some sexy priests. There's plenty of those. Willing to push the...
Especially if they're Italian.
Damn it, Bo, stop it. I'm gonna argue. I'm gonna have to pick a fight. I got an argument with Jesse about this last week for Bohawk mayoral strategies. I think I get where Jesse's coming from. Jesse thinks the solution is lean left. I think the solution for the hope for Bohawk is lean middle, but I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot recently of Bohawk's social accounts either like reposting or sharing other Democrats running for offices around not just Knoxville but surrounding counties, and I think that's a fail. That's a fail. That's just a fail. But I don't have the power to make people do what I want. Anyway, one more. We didn't talk about the Dora things. I've learned more about the Dora zones. Do the weird, and I'll close on Dora.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
So we've got Bryce Harper bristles at blowback from toothbrushing technique. Ooh. Just a squeeze from tube to tongue.
Alliterate the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Bristles blowback technique.
See, the baseball player, I've heard the name, but I don't fucking
He's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So he displayed, let's see here. A blowback from a toothbrushing technique that he displayed over a sink inside a San Diego hotel bathroom. He shared his morning routine, appropriately captioned, "Morning, y'all," to more than 600,000 followers on TikTok. And one part of his oral care stopped even most diehard fans right in their shower shoes. He squeezed toothpaste straight from the tube into his mouth rather than applying it first onto his toothbrush.
Uh-huh.
Next came the brushback pitch. Quote, "Actually diabolical toothpaste application," one TikTok follower wrote in the post.
So he just squeezed some in his mouth and started brushing?
Yeah.
All right. It is weird. I've never done that. Have you ever done that?
Guess it works. Let's see here. Well, the American Dental Association saw the video, and its advice to potential emulators is simple. Please don't.
All right. ADA says otherwise.
Yeah. Funky.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the Dora. Have you heard anything on the Dora?
Don't know it.
So Dora is the designated outdoor...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did.
Refreshment
area,
yeah. And so the pilot that was provided is for Market Square.
Right.
Of course. It makes sense. I hate it because Market Square doesn't need any more fucking help than they already get from the city, but whatever. And it's well thought out. Kudos to whoever put it together. Well thought out, because one of the concerns that I had was like, well, if I was a business down there, I'd be kind of upset because, like, what would stop, Jim Bob from just bringing a six-pack in his backpack, sitting on the square, drinking a beer?
Yeah.
There's a process to eliminate that. And so it's like, okay, cool, whatever. We're piloting this. That's the logical place to pilot it. But the pilot's supposed to run about a year. They've already expanded it to the immediate vicinity of the stadium.
Right.
And so, like, I get it for Market Square.
It starts at 10 a.m. It's like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, which is, 10 p.m. cutoff is kind of weird. Like, on a Friday night.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't know. At least go to midnight on the weekends, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, so the stadium They have a separate zone for the stadium, and it's like, okay.
The businesses have to sign up to be a part of that, I think, too.
They do, but for the stadium one, it has to be the businesses that are set within the stadium that are facing out. So either the stadium proper or the Delaney Lofts or whatever they are.
I was trying to think of the businesses close. I mean,
nothing's there yet.
Barley's is close enough to it almost.
Right, Barley's is not eligible for part of this.
They're not considered close enough?
Oh, yeah. No. Because one of the big problems they're going to have is the city owns and manages the parking lots under the bridge.
Right.
But it is state property. Sorry, the city doesn't own it. The city manages it. It's state property. State property is not eligible for door stuff. And so there's a weirdism there. And so the old city will never get real benefit from it as far as the stadium conversation goes. The old city might be able to do it from time to time, or they might be a DORA zone, whatever. We'll see what as the pilot runs its course.
Yeah,
you might be able to walk out of Barley's with a beer, walk down the street, go into Boyd's Jig and Reel.
Yeah, the story mentioned possibly expanding it to other locations.
Right. I mean,
depending on how the pilot goes.
I asked. I mean, I was first question I asked, and when
can we be next?
Mine is like, I thought we were going to be the pilot for this.
Yeah.
So, no, but anyway, and again, like I get it. If the holler was the pilot program for this, you add the element of traffic, and I understand that, and I get it. I'm not going to pitch a fit, but also I don't really give a shit about Market Square. Market Square doesn't need any more help. They have a mountain of help already in play. The stadium one bothers me though, because what the stadium one is basically doing is businesses like mine who have to spend energy and effort to make outdoor space that functions and works and is within law and all that kind of stuff and spend a bunch of money on it. These guys don't have to do it. I'm sure their rent ain't cheap, but these bars and restaurants that are going in the stadium property and around the stadium, they basically get a giant patio that they don't have to manage or secure or don't have any responsibility for.
Yeah.
Because it's now under this DORA protection bullshit, and that's bullshit.
Well, they've added any extra patrols for like Market Square. I guess it's already kind of started doing it.
Well, the news just popped. A Market Square came on, and there's 10 people standing out there right now, but it's after 10, so they can't be drinking beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I did do some digging on it and stuff like that. So the general gist of it is there's a sticker and or a printed cup, and so you can get the bars and restaurants are in the neighborhood that want to participate could get these stickers or cups. I'm not sure if they
the sticker that the article mentioned cans. It's either cans or approved cups,
right? Basically. And so, but the approved cup has to include the sticker or some sort of branding,
right,
that says it's within the thing,
DORA approved,
right? Which is also funny in a separate thing because we could go back. We didn't even talk about the smoking ban second vote, which actually went down one council member changed the vote. But the point, and so basically KPD has a presence on Market Square most of the time anyway, and they bust open container anyway. But essentially, like if you took a PBR out of your pocket, cracked it open on Market Square, and it doesn't have that sticker on it, right, KPD is going to say, you can't have that here.
Right.
That's open container, and they're going to cite you for open container. How big the sticker is, how easy it is to see, how much that's like this, we'll see how this kind of plays out as we see some practice of it.
How good the stickers are, especially in summer with condensation.
Right. Well, that very good point as well. But like the funny one to me is like the guy on city council who changed his vote, who voted yes the first time and voted no the second time. His district runs through downtown and all the market squares and stuff like that on the smoking ban thing. But he's like, I'm a little confused here because like one of the reasons that we're trying to do things is to make things more family friendly. And so you're saying that we want to have a family friendly market square that allows alcohol and forces people to smoke there. That's the play.
Yeah, think about that.
And it's like it was a very logical argument. I was on the news again this week. WAT did another piece on the reaction to the second reading and passing of it, To which I told the lady with WT, is like, I don't mind doing it. I'll happily come do a piece, but I don't want this as I don't want you to refer to me as a bar owner that I am. I would prefer you to refer to me as more like a policy government wonk. Because that's what, like, because again, it doesn't affect me. Like,
you want to give yourself your own title.
Yeah.
Will you please call me this?
It's not call me this. It's just like refer to me as, because like I don't want to talk to you as a bar owner because my objection to this is not because I own a bar. My objection to this is because I'm morally opposed to it. I think you.
But they want to get reactions from local businesses that are affected by this.
Right, and I told her I'll gladly give
political wonk. They have people to go over.
I told her I'll gladly give you my opinion on it, but not as a bar owner, as a political wonk.
Right.
And she said, "Yeah, cool." And then she ran it, and I'm a bar owner. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like I'll get my pieces where I can get my pieces. It doesn't change anything for us. Like honestly, like the long and short of it is this might help me. It might help us as a business. Certainly not going to hurt us. Like all of the people that hang out at our place are used to going outside and smoking anyway.
Right. Because you guys don't allow smoking in there, right?
Right. And so what it might do is it might help us on the retail side of the vape stuff. Of people changing over to vape because they want to be able to...
it's raining, you want to go outside? Step over here.
Right. Come over here, get a vape, and you can stay right here and be comfortable. It's cold as shit.
Your breath won't stink.
Well, that's the other one. The original was supposed to kick in today. I think if... no, what's the standard? I can't remember. The standard's like 20
it's going
days.
to affect January 1st.
Right. I think the standard, if a city passes an ordinance after the second reading, it's like 20 days after the second reading. It takes effect by default. But on the first reading, they amended it to January 1st to give the businesses more time to adjust and prepare for the changes. Which, again, Lauren, I love you. You're wrong. It's so stupid. 15. Like, this is an established number now. Like, some journalist that bothered doing the math went out there and counted. 15 bars, age-restricted venues in the city of Knoxville allow smoking.
I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility of a place that allowed smoking to set up a little stand where they sell like 3 vapes and like we're a vape shop as well?
No, it's got there's a I can't remember what the language is, but to be classified as a vape shop, it's got to be a significant portion of your sales.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so, but like we were talking about last week, Pilot Light has been non-smoking since 2007 because they're 18 and up. They've never gone to 21 and up. And so they went non-smoking when the state made them.
I guess it's been how long since I've been in there because I smoked in there.
Yeah. And so, like, literally at the market of Market Square, there is Paris Pub. That's it. Anyway, there's 15. I haven't bothered calling the beer board to find out the correct answer. But of on-premise beer licenses that the city of Knoxville has that are active, we talked about this last week. I'm still leaning to like 300 to 500 minimum.
Yeah.
Because again, like every Applebee's, every Hooters, every O'Charlie's, every Outback. I mean, fuck, like there's 6 on-premise beer permits in Westtown Mall. At least. It might be more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie theater's got one. Cheesecake Factory's got one.
Local borough.
Yeah, I mean, there's
the brewery in the middle of the...
Right, the Fanatic Brewery, which is still Fanatic, even though Fanatic's...
There was like a Frankenstein. I think they sold beer.
Yeah. So there's like 5 to 7. I mean, they're like, just in Westtown Mall.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is
places that already didn't allow smoking inside anyway.
Right. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Like the anyway, it just like it's so infuriating to me that this particular is so infuriating to me on so many levels, and it hurts my feelings that I have a lower opinion. I still love you, Lauren, but there's only 2 options for how our back and forth went, and all of them make me awesome and you not awesome. Either you're intentionally like I'm hopeful. My hopeful interpretation is that Lauren got on board with this, and she was supportive of this. And as things came up, it became I have the need to make a win here, and that it's not a moral thing that she was stuck to, and it's just I want to win because I started this win. That's my hope. My hope is that she was just stuck on. I've already kicked off in this game. I have a need to win this game, whether it was right or wrong. Like that passed once the game started. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's still potential for a grassroots effort to repeal it.
Yeah, I mean, that is the truth of it. Is that it is a local ordinance. It's certainly fixable. I could pitch it at Matt.
Like, I want to be annexed out of the city.
That's not an option. Because what the city's not going to say to is, okay, you don't have to pay those taxes anymore.
Right.
Anyway, that's something I thought about too. I'd be curious. I need to pull a map and see if see what the closest commercial county zone is, and open a smoking bar right there.
Yeah.
Just try to figure out what
like to do with the fireworks, like right on the border.
Right. It's right here, and just like it's like like the. Right. Sorry, yeah, exactly like the fireworks right outside of Knox County. That kind of shit. So that's the show, everybody. Thanks. All right, look out for Sam's Smoke Hut. Smoking beer, sports, and a general distaste for the city of Knoxville. A new bar restaurant opening soon. Sam, the proprietor, We'll watch soccer there, which I know is kind of dorky, but, we'll do what we can. Almost Agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. Thanks for listening to what we do, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And help us out. Do what you can do to support the show. We thank everybody. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up that's, super exciting. Probably not. Anyway, Almost Agreement, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Does that sometimes.